Everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of Homeopathic Voices from Around the World with me, Atika Madbati. I'm a fourth generation homeopath. I live in the UK and have been in practice for over 25 years now. So my guest today is going to be Mette Mitchell from Denmark. Really looking forward to her joining. So let's just send the invitation. And it's always wonderful to see everybody tuning in. Hey, how are you? How are you?
Good to
How are
see
you?
you.
You can hear me okay, I hope.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just was keep putting your videos back on replay because they were so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Homeopathic voices from I love
We
that.
gotta represent that vitality, you know? It's
Yeah, absolutely.
but you're a funny guy too. And thank you for the
Oh,
prescription. Nox Vomica is really doing
it's
the
all
trick here.
it's cleared up nicely, I see,
It's
yeah?
clearing up.
Good.
And I'm gonna do the Apis and Urtica maybe tonight before I go
Yeah,
to bed. And
very powerful remedies indeed. Very
yeah.
powerful. So for those joining and of course those that will listen back, actually, before I say that, yesterday's Insta Live with Dominika Tomczak from Poland and Joanna has gone up on YouTube and on my Instagram. And I think I mentioned this in one of the videos, there's a technical issue, so it keeps showing 0. But I went into the statistics, over 3,500 views so far. So thank you so very much, everybody. I mean, I'm really, it's so nice to be able to get the voice out there. I'm just happy that, people are tuning into these episodes. Yes, and actually, Dominika is online. She says, hello, good evening. So,
Oh, fantastic. Hi. I watched the video.
yeah.
So I'm a
Then
fan. Yeah.
it's brilliant, isn't it? Dominika has so much knowledge, and she's doing such a great job in Poland.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I say that, and now I say that you are doing equally as brilliant in Denmark. So
That's right.
do share about homeopathy. In actually, before we do that, do introduce yourself for those that will listen back, and do remember that the streaming listenership is huge, as I've just mentioned.
Yes. Yes.
We're looking at over
Yes.
3,000, maybe more, my
Yes.
top 5. So for those that will listen back, do introduce
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Well, my name is Mette Mitchell, and I'm a homeopath. And I have been practicing for 10 years now. And believe it or not, but I'm 50 years old, you know. Sometimes I lie and I say I'm 75, and that makes a better case for homeopathy, but I'll be honest and
You know,
say I'm 50.
you didn't have to share the age. That wasn't a requisite of coming on.
No, but you know, it's just because I had a career before, you know. I used to do interior design.
Yeah.
And then what happened is that my daughter, she got very ill. She had meningitis 2 times as a baby. And that, of course, then you meet. I was in London at the time, so the NHS and you know, the brilliant people at the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital in London and all of that. However, nobody could explain to me why my baby had meningitis 2 times in 4 months. So then you become curious as a mom, you know, and you have to find out, because if nobody can tell you why it happened, then also you don't know how to prevent it from happening again. And it was horrible, you know. So that was how I became a homeopath.
It's
Um,
interesting, you mentioned interior design because just for the sake of the conversation, really, but
uh-huh.
it's very much when you look at homeopathy, you're putting things back to a very beautiful place and how they should be. So there is some synergy there.
Well, I think the abstract thinking and kind of like I did very large spaces, so you know, like shops and like you have to kind of like understand a big space.
Mm.
You need to be kind of like be able to grasp and it feels like the same, not the same, but in a way, I think you need to have the capacity to think in an abstract way
Absolutely.
when you, yeah,
Absolutely.
and also in a systemic way, systemic and but to be able to think in a system assists you in thinking in an abstract way, I think.
Uh, Hello to Joanna, who was on yesterday's Insta Live. She's just joined. So,
Oh
hi,
yes, hi.
Dominica and Joanna. Yay! Whoa. Well,
Yes.
she just actually, Joanna, I know this is the wrong platform, totally, but you just asked me for the stats. So we're looking close to about 3.5K listeners at the moment
Fantastic.
from yesterday's one, and that's
That's
just
super.
on one platform. I haven't. I'll tally the others up later, but it's going
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
exponentially.
That's awesome. But honestly, I gotta say, sorry about the mess. Not too much interior design in my life anymore because I have to say I got bored with it after that. But this is how I started with homeopathy.
Aha!
Since there's so many people watching,
You know,
this is a brand
this
new.
is what they call product placement.
Well, I wish I would make money on it. I guess then it would be real. But 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 honestly, I'm saying that babies should be born with this baby placenta, 36 kit or whatever kit, just any homeopathic kit. I don't even care which one. They are all brilliant. But this is how I started, and that's also a huge part of my practice, and that maybe also what made me so loud in this very small country that I live in, because I wanted everybody to know this, because I learned how brilliant this was, and then I just couldn't control it, and I had to take the full education, and then I went down to Center for Homeopathic Education and got educated there
You
in
know, you
London.
mentioned this home prescriber, and it just takes me to an example that even as a homeopath, somebody in my family yesterday complained of a sore throat. It just happened.
Hmm.
And the remedy Lexis was given, and I gave
Yeah.
one dose in 200, and within
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 minutes, the throat was 60% better. Now, this is not me saying it. This is the patient, the person themselves. They were suffering. There was tightness in the throat and pain on swallowing, and the remedy worked. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing, and takes me to the kit and basically home prescribing. And we spoke about this yesterday as well, actually.
Hmm.
Um, it's so important because there's so many fears that can be removed. You know, when our children have a fever or infection or whatever it is, or they catch a cold or they have a sinusitis, or there's so much panic and people are running to the pharmacy or they're booking appointments. God forbid, some even end up in A&E. We know that, that's a reality. And yet, a kit can empower you to deal with these things so that, people like GPs and consultants and A&E and pharm can deal with more serious issues if that's so required.
Well, they will only deal with it when it's serious. They will not deal with the small things. They will not send you home with the advice of upping your vitamin C intake or take a remedy, or, they're just like, take an aspirin, take Calpol, take whatever, is I mean, that's the advice that you
Yeah.
get, and it's not real advice. And basic, and frankly, like when looking at my own baby, if I had known about belladonna, who knows how everything would have panned out. But what did they do in the hospital? We got sent away from the emergency room 3 times because that's what happens with meningitis.
Mm.
Um, and
What
and
what cause? Did you find out the cause, by the way? What that was? Was that just the way it was? Sometimes it happens, wrong place, wrong time, or
I have a
susceptibility.
theory. I have a theory. Um, uh, but it's very controversial. I don't know
Oh
how.
no, let's move forward then.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move forward.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
have something very special to ask you actually.
Hmm.
Now, you've done a great deal as far as the last 10 years as a homeopath, and tell me about Denmark and how does homeopathy fit in? Is it still new? Are there many homeopaths in Denmark? Um, tell us more about how that slots in.
Yes. So, okay. So when I was halfway through my training in England, I moved to Denmark, and I started right away with doing little mini courses, just inviting people in my kitchen, talking about this,
Yeah.
you know. Um, uh, and then I kind of started to pick up on a vibe that what I figured out is that Denmark is or was a very almost like a dogmatic classical homeopathy. I don't, classical homeopathy is, I mean, the foundation of everything that we do, but it can also become almost, well, it's like when everything is dogmatic, it becomes a little problematic. I think that one of the great things I like about Center for Homeopathic Education and what they repeat over and over again is that they say, we teach you different ways, different models to work within, so you can pick the model that fits the patient instead of trying to squeeze every patient through the same model, the classical model, Um,
That's very, very apt because Tony Jansen was on, as you know, from the Netherlands, and in his book Fighting Fire with Fire, he talks about the different approaches, and he himself has said, he says in the book clearly, I used Jan Scholten's method, I used the sensation method, which we know is creator is Dr. Rajan Sankaran, and so many other methods. There's a Joshi system as well, the map system, and a myriad of others. Excuse me if I've forgotten any, but it's so nice to have that toolbox, isn't it? And to be able to be
100%.
able to utilize everything, never say no to
No,
anything, learn it,
totally.
and it
Yeah.
will come in handy in practice.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. But that was not quite the anyway, it's like um I just got this sense, it's kind of like feeling that, maybe there was a little bit of a disapproval of introducing the kit
Mm,
to more people. But I know how much. I mean, the reason why I'm a homeopath is because I got a kit, from my homeopath at the time
mm,
that helped me detox my baby after we got discharged from hospital, because I had such a strong urge to do that, and that was the only way that could be done. So, I was like, okay, well, sorry, but not sorry. And then I also started to explore more further into the Narayani remedies,
mm.
which I am a huge, big, massive fan of. I love them so much. Um, and I also started giving little courses, to other practitioners, so to acupuncturists and osteopaths and, whatever, whoever wanted to listen, to say, listen, I can teach you the Narayana remedies. You only need to take like 5-10 minutes out of your consultation, and you will see such a massive improvement with your patients, So then I started to do that. And when once I started doing the Narayani course, then we started getting this new wave of people in Denmark that were really interested in starting to study
Mm.
homeopathy. And then as it happened, then Marcus, he put from Center for Homeopathic Education, put the education online. So now people, they could start studying at, I don't know any other school, but I can just say that for me, that school was just like
I know
such a highlight in
Marcus.
my
I
life.
know Marcus. He's been on the show,
Yeah.
as you know, on the podcast, on my podcast. But he it's brilliant, and he himself is doing the home prescriber course, and the ebook is free, and his goal is to have a home prescriber kit in every home, and
Exactly.
and I think he's going to achieve it, because the passion and the zeal that he has, coupled with, of course, immense knowledge, is amazing, and there's so much energy, and yeah, I'm just saying, I find him fascinating because he's a
Yeah,
brilliant, remarkable person.
absolutely, absolutely. And then it's kind of like, like then I feel like with Center for Homeopathic Education, it was like we got a new generation of homeopathy. Remember, Denmark is very small. We're like not even 6 million
Hmm.
people. Maybe we're 50 homeopaths here. I don't know. You know,
That's not bad.
yeah, it's not bad though, but there is like you can kind of like feel, like what you could do little change, like with where you can really you can actually do something and achieve something with homeopathy here, because you don't have to engage a lot of people before you almost made like a revolution, you know.
Yeah.
So what we have now done as the next thing here, it is that we have made our own little Guild of Homeopaths. So we call ourselves Homeopatlaget. So Lau is like the Danish word for guild. So a little bit inspired and in awe of the Guild of Homeopaths, or Homeopathic Guild, or what the guild, or what they call themselves.
Oh,
We have,
Colin Griffith. Yes,
yes,
yes.
exactly,
Colin's actually
yes.
done a special 2-part series with me. I'll leave it as a surprise when it's coming out, but
Oh, I can't wait.
amazing. And we talk about the guild actually quite a bit in there.
You know, he was like, actually, I hope he hears this and he sees this, because I remember I was talking to him because I had him as a teacher, obviously, and I was talking to him about my daughter and what
Mm,
happened to him. And he was just like, Mette, you have to go and figure it out, or if it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life, you have to work it out. You have, and that was just like the what I needed,
mm.
you know, to actually go out and figure this out. That was from him. We're super grateful, because it would have haunted me forever. But we are the six Danish homeopaths. We've gone together,
Right.
and we have a group on Facebook where we talk about homeopathy in Danish. We have like 1,600 members there.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have. So everybody takes a month and just talks about homeopathy from whatever perspective that person wants. We don't have to agree on philosophy or methodology or anything. Only thing we agree on is that we want more people to know about homeopathy. That's what we want.
Is is there a society in Denmark at the moment or not yet?
There is it's kind of like naturopathic, or, you know, there's not one individual one for homeopathy, because it's there's just not enough
Mm,
members. It just
yeah,
becomes, it just stagnates a little bit, and that's also why we've done this initiative, because it would be difficult, you know, to take that into kind of some that kind of association or something and try
yeah,
and do the things that we do, because right now we can do so much just on our own initiative, and we just have to get it approved amongst each
yeah,
other, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
any is there a college as such?
No, no,
Right.
no.
Okay. But hopefully very soon, one day soon in the next few years.
I think that, you know, first of all, I don't know why you would want to learn homeopathy in Danish, because you can't get the books in Danish.
Hmm. Interesting.
You need to know the terminology in English, because that's your source material. And secondly, you just can't beat the education from CHE. I'm sorry. Why compete? Why?
Okay. I
It's
know. I know there's yeah. It's
it's already there. You know, if you were gonna do a college here or anywhere, you should want to make it better than that.
yeah.
You know, and
I think the beauty of that, Mette, is the fact that with technology, things can go online. Webinars can go online. For example, on Friday, just in 2 days, going to uh, I'm going to an online webinar with Tony Jansen, and I actually there's a reason for that because I'm going to inform all the people that have joined about the podcast I've just done with him.
Mhm,
So I got permission to do that, but I'm still joining. But it's just so easy because otherwise you would be flying around the world, right? And
mhm.
that's not
No,
possible. It's just not even practical, to be honest. And
no,
it's so good that the knowledge, there's so much knowledge online, isn't there, for homeopathy? And you mentioned colleges, there's CAG, School of Homeopathy. There's so many in the UK, but
yeah,
I've just mentioned two large ones.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
even South Downs College, there's Contemporary College, and many, many more. Allen College. Excuse if I've forgotten any, but there's so many, and the resources are there, but they're also online as well, and it's so good giving you access to teachers, to resources, and also this virtual community, right? I mean, look, this
yes,
is what we're doing. You're in Denmark, I'm here, as you know, in the UK, and but we've connected, and it's going to be creating a community, isn't it?
yes,
More and more people will listen, and then we'll do another one, and it gives this feeling of literally, this unity that's created among homeopaths and homeopathy.
yes. I agree, and I think that there is, you know, it feels like the time is finally ripe for homeopathy. It's
Yeah, 2024, the year of
yes,
homeopathy. That's all I say. You've seen my
yes,
posts. I'm confident. I really, and I I know, hand on my heart, that I know it's not just one person, but I mean, I know that I'm tripling my efforts
Yeah.
from what I did last year, and I know so many homeopaths are doing the same.
Mm-hmm.
If we all do that, if we all do everything and just go all out, it's really going to be revolutionary, and I think it's going to be beautiful for the end result, which is people will, be able to acknowledge homeopathy, be able to use homeopathy, and get relief
Yeah.
as well. You know.
And I think it's nice. I think it is nice to feel this kind of like effort, and because I think we can do things. I mean, it's like we should know as homeopaths that people, they always come to us, or mostly comes to us with after they've seen everybody else. It's like
Yeah, that's
it's
true. That is true. Yeah.
yes. So it's like we have to be more like, yeah, I think we have to go out more and create the contact, just by kind of like saying, hey, I'm here, we're here. And I think maybe there has been a very long time where we have felt very threatened
Mm.
about just from being a homeopath, that people, they will start calling you names or look down on you or whatever. That's over. It's not like that
Right.
anymore, in my experience anyway. um and with the my group of homeopaths, the Homopatlaget, or the and we asked if we
Oh, yeah.
could do first aid, homeopathic first aid on this
Mm.
festival, as inspired by the traveling homeopaths in the UK. And they were just so happy. They were just like, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yes, we would love you to come and do that. You know?
It's interesting you mentioned that, because homeopathy for acutes is just incredible. I mean, you
Wonderful.
mentioned Naxwamika, but here, these are everyday things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it really is something. I'm as I say, every day I'm pleasantly surprised, and often reflect that, wow, every day you learn something new, right, about remedies, and it's such a wealth of knowledge. It's
Yes.
such a wealth in the books. I mean, not and the information that's available, it's immense, isn't it?
Yes.
You can spend your lifetime. Well, we're going to spend our lifetime learning, aren't we?
Yes.
Literally, you know.
And you got the advice, you got like generations behind you. You I'm so jealous. It's like
Yeah.
it's to get that, and also, that's what I say to people that I work with, that have the kid and do my online training in these things and so on. I tell them, every time you give your child a remedy, tell them what the name of the remedy and why they get it. Just get that information. just
Yeah.
just always, don't just give it to them and say, here. Just say, this is the name. I'm giving you pulsatilla to your snotty nose. Just
That's a nice
say it.
way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then you
It
get it in. Then you get it in under your, then you learn it from an early age, and it becomes a natural thing.
I was having this conversation just last night, honestly, and my uncle, who was also a homeopath alongside my father, and homeopathy in my family is not just vertically; it's horizontally as well. So my father, uncle, and then my grandfather, granduncles, not just one, and so it went up and across and across, and two uncles, I think, or three. Anyway, I have to look at the chart myself because I forget. But I was just thinking, and I was having this conversation yesterday, that there was a certain remedy that he used, and like you say, family prescriptions. It comes down, and you learn certain things. And honestly speaking, only yesterday, the how profound that he used a certain remedy for certain cases just hit me, and I thought, wow, because it's absolutely incredible for somebody to think along those lines. And I'm not sorry, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I'm not singing praises, but as a homeopath, as a student, I was shocked, because you get to a stage, right, when we grow older, we
Yeah.
mature, and our thoughts change, don't they? The more books we read,
Yes.
our thought processes change. and we think laterally as well. We think outside the box, multidimensionally, and I was so in awe, and I thought, wow, homeopathy, my God,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
and I live and breathe homeopathy, as you know. But I was really stunned, and it was a stunned moment. I thought that's amazing how somebody would get through that thought process and come up with something like this,
Yeah.
where the results were so profound. And I've seen them in his clinic,
Yeah.
where within 5 seconds the results, and you think, wow. But then when you think about it many years later, then you put certain calculations together, right, of what you've read and what you understand and what you know and what's come down, and it's just amazing. I absolutely, I mean, those remedies are so alive, aren't they not?
Mm-hmm. I'm rediscovering. You know, like I'm just like there's a couple of remedies there's one remedy that really amazed me in the moment, and that's Ignatia.
Wow,
Yeah,
brilliant.
you know, it's okay. So just Ignatia, we'll think of it as a remedy for grief, and oh my God, it's just like when you it doesn't. Okay, and then there's the twitching with Ignatia, and I don't know, but it's like I'm in the moment. I'm just seeing Ignatia in a new way, and I'm so excited about it. And I get to prescribe Ignatia, in cases that are bugging me. That there's just like this. You know what I'm talking about when you just kind of like all of a sudden you just see something about a remedy and you get it. You get it all of a sudden.
Do you want me to give you a golden nugget?
Please.
Okay, now before I do, it works for my patients, okay?
Uh-huh,
So I
uh-huh.
don't know, don't hold me if it doesn't. But anybody that comes to you with um, the sciatica or back pain,
Yeah.
um, or sometimes plantar in the foot,
Yeah.
have a think of Ignatia. You'll
Oh,
be amazed. You would never, no one would ever think that way. That no, because like you just had this conversation. It's very much grief, and but the twitching, and then obviously I thought, okay, it it's quite surprising. You'll be
yeah.
surprised with what happens. You
Yeah.
would never go
Yeah.
to that remedy, right? You hypericum, yes, nephallium, yes, and all the others,
Yeah.
Rostock and the common colocynthis, simic, and but Ignatia. Not many people. I don't know if any homeopaths think of that, but boy, does it do
Yes.
wonders. Which is quite interesting because when you look at the picture of Ignatia and you look at the disease of sciatica, it's just. I mean, I'll leave it to you, but it's quite interesting how that would fit in.
But sometimes it's also just like you just find this one sentence
Yeah,
that just go. So it's the same thing with the
yeah,
phytolacca for appetite
yes,
control. So there's just one line in Murphy where it says hungry after eating,
absolutely.
and it's like a little magic
Do you
remedy
know?
for
Do you know about
appetite control.
Mette? Do you know about Phytolacca berry?
Tell me, tell
Phytolacca
me.
berry is commonly used for weight loss.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
works really well, but it's used alongside crataegus, which is the hawthorn berry.
yeah,
But we can talk offline anyway. But
yeah,
yeah, you might find that interesting as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting because as you're talking, I'm just certain things are coming to my mind, which means it's a really good, positive
Yes,
conversation. It's exciting, isn't
yes,
it?
yes, it is. I just want to see somebody saying something. Ignition, what symptom, please? I couldn't hear
uh,
it.
okay, that yeah, I wouldn't sort of share that like this. Sorry, forgive
No,
me, but because I don't want to sort of mislead anyone.
no,
But
no.
I was just sharing with Mette that I've used for people sometimes who come with plantar, which is a condition, plantar fasciitis in the foot and the heel. Ignatius works really, really well personally for me, and I was just asking Mette that maybe she should also look at it for sciatica and back pain, and you might be very pleasantly surprised with the results. That doesn't mean just give it. Have a read up on Ignatia, understand it, understand its vibration, its energy, what its signature is. We all have human signatures, don't we? We all sign.
Yeah.
the remedies have their own signature. What's the signature of that remedy? And you'll be quite amazed at how it fits in quite nicely with sciatica, back pain, and basically a trapped nerve, for example, which is muscle spasm, right? We know that's generally the
Yes.
cause. But sorry,
Yes. Yeah.
that's that. But thank you for the
Yeah.
question. A really nice question.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So tell me, how are you? You're in Copenhagen, aren't you,
No,
Mette?
no.
Mm.
I escaped.
Can't be that bad, can it?
I'm on the beach in the countryside in
Oh,
Jutland. I got 300 meters to the beach that way, 300 meters to the forest that way.
wow.
And I think that nature is, when it comes down to it, the biggest healer of them all.
Oh,
You
Mette,
know.
look at this. Is it Rue Nuno?
Oh,
Nuno? I'm not telling if I'm pronouncing
yeah.
it right. She's written, I feel like sometimes you feel in Ignatia like no one has your back, abandonment, makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you for that. That's nice,
Yes.
isn't it? That
Yeah.
somebody actually replied to that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, going back to yourself. I was just going to ask you, are you quite busy? You must be quite busy, right? And well, I
Yes.
know you are
Yes.
because I can't get
Yes.
hold of you. But I'm just glad you're here.
Yeah. Well, I know it's
Right?
I
For the,
maxed it. I
for those
closed down.
listening and those that will listen back,
Yeah, no,
right?
but
This is
seriously,
really funny. I asked Mette, I said, can we communicate on WhatsApp? And she said, no, book an appointment. And I thought, hang on a minute, I'm inviting you to a show. And I actually had to go online. I had to book a time slot. Okay. Hey, but it was fun.
but you know what? And I know it's kind of, but it's just because, look, I get so absorbed. You know, I
Yeah.
need to have a ping that needs to tell me to go to the next thing. It's like I I just accepted that about myself, that I know my limits. But I also well, I just yesterday I closed down for intake of new patients because
Right.
I reached that level where it's healthy, you know. So yeah, it's busy,
I'm,
but I see.
I'm glad because you mentioned when we spoke last time, you mentioned about the fact that your schedule, your appointment calendar is so busy, and that's that was really nice to know because for like although you've been to the UK, it's different, but I haven't been to Denmark,
Yes.
so you never understand, and you see how certain countries are working as far as homeopathy is concerned. So it's really really wonderful
Yeah.
that you're busy, and obviously people want to use homeopathy.
Yes.
But I was going to ask you actually, are you going to write? Have you written any books?
No. No.
I'm going to.
Yes, but it's not going to be about
Oh,
homeopathy, but it's going to be about my lineage. So it's a little bit about homeopathy. So basically, like if you wanted to, from a miasmatic
oh,
perspective, my own family
oh,
history, you know. So yes,
interesting. That's actually quite interesting.
yes, yes, I do think that's very interesting. It's like once you get into and how do you say it? Ancestry. How
Yeah,
do you say it? Whoa.
ancestry. Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. Um, I I am trying to put a family sort of tree together, and we've basically I got up to my I can't remember fifth, I think sixth or seventh great grandfather, and we realized that preceding them, the upwards for a number of generations, they were all herbalists or
Interesting.
natural medical practitioners, you could say. I don't know if herbalism as a word existed at that time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but using basically herbs, and using nature. So it's fascinating, and I'm going to dig deeper when I get a chance, into that. Somehow, I hope there's an opportunity to go to trace back.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, my great grandfather, he was a doctor, and
wow.
my grandfather wanted to be a doctor, but he it was enough with one doctor in the
Mm,
family. Um, but he was in the resistance for Norway during World War II, and he basically assisted their doctor in the war medicine, and
Oh,
yeah. So that is, I don't know. I don't know what the connection is there, but it definitely, I don't know. I feel a connection with my grandfather on this. I do, honestly. Because if you're a doctor, or if you're a homeopath, or you're whatever, it comes from. I mean, well, I don't know how you become a doctor, but I know that you can't be a homeopath without a passion. That's for sure.
and
You
compassion.
yeah, and compassion, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to have like a deeper motivation to sit down and learn the material,
You know,
because
it's very beautiful what you've just said, because I don't know of any homeopath who does not love humanity. You wouldn't
Mhm.
go into homeopathy if that love was not there, because day in and day out, people are coming to you. They're sharing their worries and their anxiety and their health complaints. And as homeopaths, we listen and we empathize and we feel, right? It's
And
homeopathy.
ask difficult questions.
Yeah. And listen to difficult answers as
Yeah,
well, and sometimes very heartbreaking answers. We're humans.
yeah,
It hurts sometimes,
yeah.
doesn't it? And you wonder, you have sleepless nights thinking, oh my God, how can somebody be suffering so much? But it's such a beautiful art, isn't it? If you just split the science, like James Tyler Kent has said so wonderfully, the science is on one side, but then the art comes into it as well,
True.
doesn't it? And it's such a beautiful profession. It's one of many, of course, under the flag of service to humanity. But I just find that, and I meant mentioning this actually a few times, even yesterday, that there's homeopaths, including yourself, I'm sure, who will sacrifice their sleep for just one patient because they're
Mhm.
repertorizing, they're looking at rubrics, they're writing
Yes.
down, look, remedies, right, on a post-it. Forget the software and forget the books. Yeah, write them
Yeah,
down and repertorize manually so you'll never forget it ever again. You
I
know.
got mine here. You know.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. It's
Yours are much
but
neater
yeah.
than mine, by the way.
Ah.
Yours are much neater than mine.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
I,
I was repertorizing today, and a certain remedies were coming to mind, and I was repertorizing, but I went with my gut
yeah.
because I felt that, and that's quite important for homeopaths to know as well, that it's not always what the repertory says. It's not, and I know that from experience. You
Oh
have to
yeah.
use your intuition, you have to use your knowledge, and to be honest with you, the remedy does eventually come to you anyway. You do
Yes.
realize what it is, and then you refer to the books and you think, let me just check, and it
Yeah.
works, right?
Yeah.
The end result is the important one.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's the only one, and that's also back to what we spoke about in the beginning about what method you
Mm.
use. It doesn't really matter, as long as the patient feels better. But I also feel like like when you are a homeopath, you have your first row to uh, observe and watch and experience healing, and I know for me that's healing me. It means a lot for my well-being, to actually be in that process all the time and see healing happening. If you want to go, I can go deep on this topic. I For me, that I think for me that is like uh almost like a, a secret. It's like sometimes I even feel, I get so happy, when even with acute, and you're given a acute with patients that have the kid and you see them get better, I
Mm.
almost feel like I'm the one that gets the most, because it's so, I don't know, but there is something too, if you feel bad, go out and do something for somebody else, and then you feel
You know,
better. Do you know what I mean?
you said something again very beautiful, and that was about yourself and when a patient gets better. But it's very humbling, isn't it, as homeopaths, because we don't go out and sing a song or make a post. it's just like, oh, it's such a nice feeling, right? That you think,
Yes.
oh, somebody's pain or anxiety or worry or depression or whatever it is, right, has gone, or even something acute, a sore throat, let's say, a cough or a cold, and it's such a nice feeling inside, isn't it? It's such a beautiful time at that moment when that patient calls or emails or sends a WhatsApp saying, "Oh, I'm okay now."
Yeah.
It's just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know that with in homeopathy, we take that, but we learn from it as well, and it makes us
Yeah.
stronger, right? It's so so nice, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
feeding both ways, it's going around, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love this conversation. It's so it's I love it. It's very nice.
I
It's right
love
up my
it too.
street.
Yes. Yes.
So tell us anything else. What are you up to for the next few months before you come on my podcast?
So
Because
what
we're
am I
going to
up
be on that
to?
soon.
Well, I'm have a week holiday next week.
Oh yes, half
So
term, isn't it? Yeah, yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
So I'm just gonna, relax and do. I have a little side project that I like with medicinal mushrooms. It's
Mm,
fun to grow them and to, there's a lot of stuff to be found there too, and to be pulled out of that as well. But I think the main thing for me is that it's nice to have a full clinic. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's a lot of work as a homeopath to get
it
to
is.
the point when you have a full clinic, and I am so happy about it. It makes me feel so peaceful inside that big.
Mm,
It's like it's a real achievement, and I want to enjoy that. And then what I want to do, like in the future, is try to do more group things,
mm,
so we have the like one-to-one. I love one-to-one, but there is also a lot of things that can be explained to a group because you would tell the same thing to everybody. So there's one very exciting project that I decided to work on, and I think it's going to be quite simple, but also I think there's going to be a lot of interest for it because like I say to people so often, if you want to find out if this medicine uh, or toxin or whatever, if you want to find out if that has harmed you, just take it back in potency.
mm.
Because then your body will start detoxing, and then you'll get the detoxification symptoms, and then okay, there's something here, and it should probably be looked at and detoxed.
It's interesting. Tony Pincus. Actually, I was just talking to him the other day,
Yeah.
and he was from Ainsworth, as you know, and
Uh-huh.
he was talking about in our 3-part special we did. It was tautopathy, which is taking conventional medicine to remove the
Mm-hmm.
side effects of drugs. And it could be anything from gentamicin to, oh, sorry, without any names. It could be anything from antibiotics to anything else. So there's various new fields emerging, and a lot of research is being done. But it just led me to understand and realize that the world of homeopathy is immense, and there's so many things we haven't even tapped into.
Yeah.
I mean, just take agri-homeopathy and
Yes.
homeopathy for animals. I mean, that's a whole new level, isn't it, in itself?
Yes.
But it's the same remedies, mineral, animal, plant.
Yeah. Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, but what I would like to try and do in these groups is to take like a range of substances, and then everybody can get like this range of remedies in the 30C
Mm,
potency as kind of like as a package, as a part of the program. And then we can do one together, like week after week, pick them out. And then we can see, okay, what's your reaction? How are you reacting? And then offer the different solutions. And of course, because this is protocol, most of it. So it's not necessary to sit there and look for the individual remedy when you're detoxing things like this. You're not going to be the like cures like. It's the same cure, same, because you can't find these substances in nature
mm,
anyway. You can't. It's but then if you you know, if I'm looking at kind of like making some kind of structure where everybody can get together, and then in a group setting, you can have your package, we can go through it, we can have like meeting points where we meet but then everybody has the same instruction, and then kind of like goes through it, and then we pick up, or I will pick up, you know, where there is a need for it. Oh, Danielle is here.
Oh,
Hi.
hi,
I saw that
Danielle,
she's coming
tonight.
on next week. Yeah. Oh,
Danielle's
soon.
on very, very soon. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, and
I've
but
just
you know, then
posted
you can.
about her today,
I
actually,
saw
on my.
that. I saw
Oh,
that. Yes,
okay.
yes. So,
She's
but you
an
know, then
amazing homeopath, by the way. Amazing.
I follow her. I'm a fan, and I met somebody on the bus the other day, and she was like, "Oh my God, I know that very good."
That's
Super excited.
nice.
Yeah. No, but you know, with these, with then you can make like a group of 12, and then you can go through that on that journey together. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
So, yeah. So those are the kind of things that I would like to look at. But and it's also a way of looking at how to make the most of the time. You know, if you can do things where there's a group of people and
I
then
think
some
it's
individual.
really, really good what you're doing, and you should make. You're obviously logging everything, aren't you? Because it goes towards research at the end of the day. You know,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
such an important part, and that's another beauty of homeopathy, isn't it? That different clusters of groups of people around the world and communities are doing certain, uh, are looking at certain remedies and doing research accordingly, and you know those results are very, very important. I think
Yeah.
you know, and may that long, long continue.
Yes. Exactly.
Mette, we're pretty much close to sort of the end of this in homeopathic voices. So uh, it's been an absolute delight that you've come on. Thank you so very much. I will be inviting you back, of course. That goes without saying. But I also look forward to you coming on my podcast very soon. We've scheduled a
Yes.
date, and we'll talk much, much more in some more depth about homeopathy, yourself, and your journey. But yeah, thank you so much. It's been a great honor.
Thank you so much. I loved it, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Great. Thank you so much. Really
Thank
grateful to you.
you.
All
All
right.
right.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.